I would like to first introduce you to Nicolas Segebarth. Nicolas is policy officer at the Healthy Oceans and Seas Unit of the Directorate General for Research and Innovation of the European Commission. He's also one of the experts providing an advisory role to the Blue Cloud project through our external stakeholder and expert board. So it's really an honor for us to have him with us today. Nicolas, thank you so much for joining us. You've been following Blue Cloud since its early beginnings in 2019. It's 2022 now, and we're ready to host a hackathon. So this is definitely an important time for us, and we're really thrilled to have you on board. So welcome, and over to you, sir.
Thank you, Julia. Thank you for introducing me, and the honor is mine to be able to welcome the Blue Cloud Hackathon. Blue Cloud has been working now, as you said, since 19, so for about a bit more than 2 years from now. And you've been working on improving the tools to findability of marine data, to facilitate its access and its usability. And that to a number of data sources which were not necessarily easy to access, or which data was not necessarily easy to combine. So you're developing these tools to do so, and you're also developing tools to be able to play with the data and develop applications. You are demonstrating how this approach can be used through 5 examples, 5 pilots, use cases. But of course, there are many other ways possible to use the data and the tools that you have been developing. And this is exactly what the hackathon is about. It's about providing these tools to a much wider community to be able to stimulate you, to the community, I mean by you, to stimulate the community to use the data and find out innovative ways to actually use the data for new applications, and really paving the way to what we call the digital twin ocean. For those of you who are attentive to the work program regularly published through the European Research Framework Program, you might have noticed that under the Mission Restore Ocean and Seas work program, which has been published very recently in December, we have launched what we call the EU Digital Twin of the Ocean, where we aim at building an infrastructure providing easy access to data, to models, and easy ways to actually connect all of this together to develop own applications. And so we envisage, and we have already considered quite a number of possible applications, but I'm sure that our imagination is limited, and there are many other ways to actually use the data and use these tools. And I think this is a very good way, this hackathon, to actually start and kick off these things. So with this, I would like to give you back in the very good hands of Julia, Sara, and all the team there, who will guide you and mentor you for a little while to help you to use the tools, because, okay, they're probably not still as easy to use as we could imagine in 20 or 30 years from now, but I'm sure that they will help you and guide you through this. And I look forward to hear the results of the contest. I have seen that there are very interesting prizes offered to the winners, but on my side, on the Commission side, we will also make sure that the most interesting applications will give an opportunity to show their results in different instances in conference that we are supporting and so forth. So we will also help you to publicize your results in the hackathon. So the floor is yours, Julia. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nicolas, and we'll certainly pick up on your help. Thank you for a very inspiring introduction. Indeed, important to remember how Blue Cloud connects with other European initiatives, and I guess already some great food for thought for our hackathon participants. So we are also very happy to have Sara Pittonet from Trust IT with us today. Sara is the Blue Cloud project coordinator, and she's doing a fantastic job, I would say, driving the project forward and leading the team towards her goals. Sara, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a good ride for the Blue Cloud project so far, hasn't it?
Yeah, thank you, Julia. Thank you, Nicolas, for your continued support, and thank you to all the Blue Cloud crew. I'd say I'm just captain, but where can a captain go without the fantastic crew we are? Let me just echo what Nicolas said. So why this hackathon is such important and so strategic for the project. So Blue Cloud acts as a federator of existing infrastructures. That's the core of the novelty that it brings to the marine data landscape. If we look at the Blue Cloud mission, it is to promote the sharing of data processes and research through a collaborative approach, a collaborative web-based approach through the platform that we have set up to boost and enable open science. So what are you going to find in Blue Cloud and test via this hackathon? First of all, you'll find a community of 750 users, plus I would say they might have grown in the last days, coming from different research institutes in Europe, using the assets of the platform. You'll find 10.5 million data sets and a few thousand of data collection and data products from 9 different data providers. And they are accessible thanks to the service that is called the Data Discovery and Access service. You'll find 5 virtual labs, so laboratories, demonstrators in biodiversity, genomics, environmental research, fisheries and aquaculture, where you'll find 12 services, 12 thematic services and another couple of generic services available there, proposed to be used by users that want to test them to perform their marine research. So why the hackathon is so important? We've said we are 2 years over, but actually this is like a new start of the project for us, because this hackathon will give the chance for many new actors to use and test and practice open science via this platform. It's the opportunity of this hackathon is a step forward to test new digital possibilities and consider bringing in new data sets, a bigger volume of data, new applications. And that's why the feedback from users is strategic at this point in time. But in addition, if we look then at the sustainability of all this machine and the model that Blue Cloud is introducing, we also need to mention the Blue Cloud roadmap, where we are trying to set down some pillars that should be able to ensure a long-term usability, sustainability of the Blue Cloud platform. If we look at the vision that we have for 2030, is to really realize the potential of open science to support the EU Green Deal and the agenda of the United Nations. And to do so, we started asking some questions. And the hackathon will help us in finding the answers to some of them. We have asked ourselves how open science really looks like in the marine domain. What are the actors that we need and that use the services and perform open science? What's the added value that Blue Cloud can bring to this vision? What are the benefits for the users? How can such an offer evolve by 2025 or 2030? So we have 4 pillars now to look at. The first one is related to the growth of applications. As Nicolas mentioned, we have a bunch so far, but we don't know how much they can grow and how many others can be introduced in the platform. We have a diverse community of practitioners, but again, we are open to new ones, and we've already demonstrated through the current use cases that interaction among domains is effective and possible. A third pillar aims at supporting fair and open access to data. And that's what the platforms allow, the discovery and access services and the interoperability across the thematic services that you will find in the platform. And again, the last pillar exactly is to ensure interoperability across data infrastructures, marine data infrastructures. This is what Blue Cloud actually is aiming at. And your contribution through this hackathon is a fundamental step towards this objective. We really hope that you will enjoy this session, that you learn, ask your questions. I'll now give the floor back to Julia and Kate from Seascape, and we really hope to see you numerous at the hackathon in February. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Sara. And indeed, we'll now give the floor to my colleague, Kate Larkin. Kate is head of research at Seascape Belgium. She's also the deputy head of the Secretariat of EMBL, which is one of the key long-term EU marine data infrastructures in dialogue with Blue Cloud. Kate is the lead for a number of project actions that are looking well beyond the lifetime of the project to make sure that Blue Cloud leaves a rich, long-lasting legacy for the ocean community. So Kate, thank you very much for joining us, and over to you.
Thank you very much, Julia, Nicolas and Sara. I'm delighted to complete this introduction session. A very warm welcome from myself also to this Blue Cloud Hackathon. I'm a representative of Seascape Belgium, which is a member of the Blue Cloud Partnership and the steering committee. And in this project, the Blue Cloud Initiative, Seascape Belgium coordinates the Blue Cloud roadmap development, which is the future sort of strategy towards 2030 of web-based open science in the marine domain. It also brings, we bring representation of EMBL as well, the European Marine Observation and Data Network, which is a key marine data infrastructure and service, working with others such as Copernicus Marine Service and others in the EU marine data space. So we're here today because all of you that are joining, I think there are more than 100 that have joined us live, and the many more that are going to be watching this recording. You've all registered or you're interested perhaps in taking part in this Blue Cloud Hackathon. And I can say that Blue Cloud partners and the networks have been really gearing up the past few weeks to really offer you the state of the art that Blue Cloud has to offer. And I'm going to briefly just give you a few information of what the Blue Cloud Hackathon has to offer you. So first, some statistics. We have now 285 participants registered from 65 countries. So it's really great to see the diversity. Really welcome to everybody from Europe and beyond. This includes 20 EU member states and then, of course, many other countries. And amongst that, we also have 30 mentors and facilitators. So there's a huge collective expertise and advice, I would say, that everybody who's registered can really tap into during this, together with, of course, all of the online resources. So what does this hackathon have to offer you? Why should you stay involved now that you've registered? What are we offering? This hackathon really leverages, like many have said in this introduction, across the open source marine data in the European marine data space. We're giving you, the users, the sort of steering wheel, if you like, to bring all these data and connect it to analytical tools, to the virtual research environments, and come up with your solutions and applications, and to drive forward web-based open science. We really value that you will test and give feedback and improve the services that have been developed so far by the Blue Cloud partners and the demonstrators. And also, we're really keen, of course, of building closer connections within Europe, but also beyond. There's been a lot of activity, for example, in the Atlantic, cross-Atlantic, pan-Atlantic, and we really welcome those of you joining from different areas of the Atlantic, but also worldwide today, because this is really key to the future of connecting web-based open science globally. And then the ideas that will be put forward from this hackathon will really feed into the future strategy of Blue Cloud. So the roadmap that's been mentioned, this will all be going in the direction of then the future evolution of web-based open science and digital services to 2030 and beyond. So I will just finish by saying thank you very much for all of you who have registered. Stay engaged. We really value your connection. Have a really productive time in this 3-week ideation. Enjoy the kickoff today, and we'll see you again as well on the 7th of February for the kickoff of the real thing. Thanks, Julia. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Kate. Thank you also, Nicolas and Sara, for your very warm welcome. So I have to say, wow, 285 participants from 65 countries. We really could not be more thrilled about the community that is slowly shaping around the Blue Cloud Hackathon. And I guess with this in mind, we're now going to move ahead with the agenda for today's live event. Let me maybe first give you a quick overview of what is it that we have in store for you over the next couple of hours. As Kate has said, and Sara, and I guess as we will further explain today, the Blue Cloud Hackathon revolves around testing services and resources that are being made available by the Blue Cloud project. So we would like to use the opportunity of this first kickoff live event of the Ideation Warm Up to give you a better idea of what Blue Cloud is about. And that's basically what we're going to be doing over the next 45 minutes during the first panel of today's live event. Then we have planned for a second panel in which we will look deeper into the Blue Cloud Hackathon itself, including the topics and challenges presented to you. And we will then finally also be sharing some general practical information on the 3-week ideation warm-up that kicks off today, so that you know what to expect over the next 3 weeks and how you can make the most of the time and the resources that we will be making available to you to prepare for the hackathon. Before we close the event, we will make time for a final Q&A session for any outstanding questions that you might have. But having said that, and as I said at the beginning, the Zoom chat is going to be open during the whole event. Our colleague Natalie Pittonet is very kindly monitoring it to make sure that we can jump in and resolve any questions on the spot in an interactive way. So please don't be shy and ask away. And we're going to kick off then with the first panel to give you an overview of Blue Cloud. What is the project about? What new tools is it making available to the ocean community to address ocean challenges, and also to showcase a practical example of how these tools are helping marine scientists to advance knowledge of the ocean. We have the pleasure of having the Blue Cloud technical coordinator with us, Dick Schaap from MADIS. Dick has a long experience of over 30 years in managing ocean and data information, and is probably the best person to give you a high-level introduction to Blue Cloud. So Dick, over to you.
Thank you, Julia, for the introduction. I will take over. And let's see if I can take over the screen. Yeah, let's go in full mode. Yeah, you can see it, I hope.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Yeah, thank you for all these nice introductions, of course. And of course, you want to know a little bit better, let's say, what is Blue Cloud all about in a technical sense. And I will give you some overviews. First of all, if we look at Europe, you know that we, over the years or over the decades, I would say, we have developed quite a capability of acquiring data. And there's data from the sea, and we use many different modes, modalities to acquire this. And so we do it by vessels, we do it by buoys, we do it by remote sensing, satellites, and so on. And we are doing this, let's say, all this time, let's say, because we need the data for many different purposes. One, of course, is science, but there's also management, environmental management, conventions, different activities at sea. So there's a lot of, let's say, data need. And that means that we did an assessment a few years ago as part of EMBL. And there we found out that we spent about 1.4 billion euro a year in collecting data from the sea. And that is 1 billion, let's say, in the in situ domain, and then another 0.4 billion in the remote sensing domain, and especially then the Copernicus program. So that means that by handling, let's say, by collecting all these data, we also need a very good way to handle this data, to manage it. And that and Europe has also invested a lot of budget over the years, let's say over decades, in fact, to build up a very good landscape of marine data management infrastructures. And in the following images gives you an overview, because on the left you see a little bit let's say the pyramid. So on the bottom side you see those who are collecting data in many different ways. And then in the middle we have a number of what we call aggregators of data, and those are data management infrastructures which bring together the data and make it fit, let's say, for further use, together with metadata for other people who are users. In the user domain, we have the intermediate users. So let's say those who add value to the original data and the original products. And then on the top, we have, let's say, end users. And those end users can, of course, be anywhere in society. If you look on the right, you see that in the aggregation part, because that's what we're talking about mostly in the Blue Cloud, as part of our, let's say, our colleagues, we have there the European landscape, and you see several marine data infrastructures that have been developed over decades, and several are done as part of the S3 program, the research infrastructures. But there's also, let's say, a few which are really leading, and that's first of all CDataNet. CDataNet is an infrastructure of the network of the national oceanographic data centers, and they have been collecting and managing data for many years, and also involving, let's say, the several institutes in their own country, and then focusing on the data from, let's say, the scientific fleet, but also from a lot of monitoring stations. Then we have AWODNet. AWODNet is since 10 years, say a very good initiative, and it's more, let's say, it brings together also data, but it's more focusing on using the data to generate the data products, the European generic data products. And this way, in fact, working together with all these different data management infrastructures to bring the data together. And there is a very good, I would say, a very good momentum, because through the work of AWODNet, products are generated. We generate a lot of interest from users and the intermediate users. And this also drives then further acquisition and further bringing together, let's say, data from data providers. So there's a very good interaction between the data management infrastructures and the AWODNet, which then generates added value products. And on top of that, we see the Copernicus services, CMEMS, which also makes added value products, and then evolving large mathematical models, and also making forecast products, but also large climate projects. So these are, let's say, the generators, and the others are really, it's quite a cohesive and coherent landscape. And over time, also the cooperation and the exchange between all these different infrastructures is increasing and giving very good added value, let's say, giving results, which are, of course, also needed if we look at all the directives that we have, that we want to, let's say, implement to safeguard the quality of our environment and the safeguard, let's say, the health of our oceans. If you look at the Blue Cloud was, there was a call a few years ago, Future of Seas and Oceans flagship. And as part of this, let's say, the idea was, let's start with the Blue Cloud to bring together, to federate several of these services, which you just saw in the previous slide. And the idea is then to share data, to share algorithms, and to share also computing power in the marine domain, and by building a collaborative platform. And this way, giving access to the scientists and the researchers to apply web-based open science, but also to develop, let's say, algorithms or pipelines, workflows, which can be very supportive of solving several of the big challenges that we have right now, let's say, for our marine, for our ocean health, and also for our sustainable development of the seas and the oceans. The overarching concept is, it looks quite simple. In fact, there is, first of all, there's let's say, a triangle at the bottom, which are the upstream services, and that is that we want to make the discovery and access to data more easy. And of course, involving many of the different data management infrastructures that you saw in the earlier picture of the landscape. Then to do this, we want to make use, or we are making use of standards, international standards like OGC, ISO, W3C, but also let's call it the discipline standards, like standard vocabularies by which we can name all the data in a comparable way. And then on the top, we have another triangle, and those are the downstream services. And there we want to, let's say, add processes, algorithms, analytical tools to the data to turn the data into results and added value products, which then can be used, let's say, for the various user domains. So we are following this concept. And this concept is in the Blue Cloud is being supported by many leading infrastructures in Europe. So they're all partners in the project. First of all, we have several blue data infrastructures. So they are managing and collecting different types of data which are relevant for the seas and the oceans. And on the right, we have a number of e-infrastructures, let's say digital computing infrastructures, which are also leading in Europe. And they are also all in the, let's say, they're also involved in the EOS, the European Open Science Cloud. But also they are, several of them have already, let's say, quite some experience also with marine data, and especially, of course, VKO, which is what we call the DIAS, the Data Access Center or Service for the Copernicus program. Here's an illustration of what kind of data. So we're looking at physical data, we're looking at chemical data, we're looking at biological data, we're looking at genomic data, biogenomic data, and also we're looking at data from both in situ as well as from satellites. And then also we're looking at forecast products, and we're looking at, let's say, large aggregated data collections, which are also can be seen as products. So there's really a sea or an ocean of data, let's say, available for use in the Blue Cloud. And we have, as part of the concept, let's say, we have developed, and now, of course, I'm still progressing with, first of all, a Blue Cloud data discovery and access service, which gives access and discovery to the key and leading data infrastructures. Second one is that we have the virtual research environment, which gives you access to a number of, or a large number of services for analytical processes. But also you can there orchestrate, let's say, workflows, and you can make use, of course, of the data. And then all this culminates what we call so-called virtual labs. And those virtual labs can be seen as demonstrators, but also can be seen as the working place, the workspace in which researchers can work together and using the data, using the applications, and using, say, a lot of generic services as well to do their science and produce really added value products. If you look at the Blue Cloud Data Discovery Access Service, it's here you see the home page. We work with a two-level search approach. That means that first you do the search on the course level, and then you drill down to a more finer level. And then there is a shopping basket in which you can put the data of your interest. Then there's a data broker that interacts by machine to machine with all the different infrastructures to retrieve the data sets. And then does the packaging. And then you can, as a user, you can download data from your personal dashboard, My Blue Cloud. And also you can transfer the data in, by ingesting it into the VLIZ if you are a VLIZ user and would like to use several data sets as part of your virtual lab. If you look at the data sets that we have, here's an overview, but I won't read them all. But most important is that they really give a very large diversity in data sets, as I explained a little bit earlier. And together right now, we have more than 10 million open data sets and also thousands of data products, which are being made available through this data discovery and access service. And in fact, they're at your doorstep simply to download and to use. Here are some examples, let's say, of interactions with the discovery service. On the left, you see discovery for Argo floats. And Argo floats, they collect physical data like CTD data, but also they collect more and more biogeochemical data all over the world and the oceans. And on the right, you see, let's say, the CDI service, also an example, in this case, searching for bathymetry data. And what you see displayed is the data sets which are made available through Island, let's say, as part of their very extensive bathymetry survey program. If we go to the next component of the Blue Cloud, we have the virtual research environment, and it's all about collaboration. It's about sharing, it's about reusing, and also it's about the reproducing and the republishing. And that means that we have, let's say, the data, it has been set up in such a way that all the results, there is a provenance trail, so that, let's say, all the metadata about the process can also be published and is available for those users who want to reiterate the same processes or want to learn more about the workflows. This is another image, let's say, how the virtual research environment is built up. So with several shells. And of course, one key shell are the analytical processes which are available, and also the tools for this, like Jupyter Hub, like RStudio, Analytics Engine, etc. There's also, let's say, other tools, but my colleague, let's say, Lino from CNR, he will explain a little bit more and deeper, let's say, how the VLIZ works and what it can offer to you. But it's just to show you, let's say, the schematics that we are and the structure that we are following. And finally, we have virtual labs. And in the project so far, we have 5 of them, but 4 of them will be open for the hackathon. And another colleague of mine, let's say, she will introduce one of those so you can get a better idea what you can do with these tools that we have, and also, let's say, how you can apply this for your own application. And as was said earlier, let's say, we are looking very much forward to your applications and also to your experience, because your feedback will really be very instrumental for us, let's say, for refining the tools and also for, let's say, now learning more from applications that can be done or should be done. Thank you very much for this, and have a good hackathon.
Thank you very much, Dick. Let me see if I can quickly bring back, yes, this is screen. So thank you for your overview, Dick. So indeed, as Dick has mentioned, part of the added value that Blue Cloud brings to the ocean community, on top of making marine data more easily findable and accessible across different infrastructures, is Blue Cloud's virtual research environment. You'll hear us refer to Blue Cloud VRE many times. It's a web-based space where data scientists and developers can come together to find new ways of bringing data to life to advance ocean research. And as Dick mentioned, we now have the pleasure of having Pasquale Pagano with us from CNR-ISTI, who's the lead manager overseeing the development of Blue Cloud VRE as an open science environment for marine scientists and researchers. So Pasquale, or Lino, if I may, welcome, and can you tell us a bit more about this open science environment, and maybe sum up for our hackathon participants, what will they find in there that we think might be really useful to them? Over to you, Lino.
Thanks, Julia. Welcome everybody also from my side. I am Pasquale Pagano. As Julia said, I work at the CNR in Italy, and I am the technical director of the default science infrastructure that is providing the backbone, the digital backbone to the Blue Cloud virtual research environment. So the Blue Cloud VRE is what we call just one place, one place to perform, to access, discover and access the data sets as Dick presented. It's also just one place to, for any user to store and then, preserve and share, all the data sets, not only the data sets, but also, methods and applications, with other users. And also is just one place for, to perform data analysis. And so to integrate your software or your method, computational methods, and then to perform, analysis on the data sets. So the Blue Cloud VRE is accessible at bluecloud.defaultscience.org. And I mean, when you access also was said, before, not to just one platform, but more a system of a system that federates, existing, marine infrastructure and also digital infrastructure, that provides services, to the European Open Science Cloud. And this system is not closed, but you can expand, you can extend, this, you can extend, it by adding your own specific software, by registering your software, and then decide if you want to use, just yourself, or you want to share with your group of users or with the entire Blue Cloud community. So it's really extensible and can be configured, by any member, according to his needs. And it's open. It's open because it provides open access to the resources, but also it's open because it provides, open science approaches and facilitate, the use of open science approaches and practices. So let me say that by using the Blue Cloud VRE and the way we have built this system, you can start from your research data, you can integrate your research software, you can use the cloud that we offer, the computing resources that we offer to perform your research, and then you can, decide to share, the resulting research data. And all these, by promoting, the open science practices. That means that any process that you execute can be repeated, can be reproduced, it can be reused by other users if you wish. It enables in this way, active collaboration between users, because it is not just cloud computing, but it's a way to create an environment where you can, build your own dashboard of your process that you executed, in your daily activities, and then you can repeat and use, part of what you already executed on to analyze data. And you can also, really share, this data, and provenance and attributions are automatically, generated by the platform. So anytime you generate something, a new data set, all the methods that you have used, all the parameters that you use to generate these new data sets are automatically accumulated by the system and are offered, to you as metadata in a standard format. So everything that you see and you will use, through the D4Science, through the bluecloud.d4science.org gateway, can be also accessed, through APIs. So if you want, there are open API that, to enable service to service, application, and everything, is compliant to standard. As I said, it's just one place for discovery, as Dick presented. There are a lot of marine data infrastructure federated, and you can discover, data sets with this two steps, approach. In the first one, you identify, you search for data collections, and you can use, free search or geographical and temporal criteria. And in the second step, then you drill down, again, by filtering the results using, again, geographical and temporal criteria. At the end, you have identified, specific data sets that you can visualize on maps, and you can, create, and submit your shopping request, through the platform. These, collect, all data sets for you and make them available through a dashboard. And then by using this dashboard, you can decide to download on your desktop or to put, automatically to push these data sets to the Blue Cloud VLIZ data pool. And then in the VLIZ, clearly, you can share with other users, or you can analyze these data sets with your own software. In terms of storage, it's not a simple, file system. It looks like a file system, but it's fault tolerant and is fully replicated. It automatically versions all the products that you generate. It automatically generates provenance metadata in standard format, and it allows, to share this product with, your colleagues if you wish. It is also integrated, with all the services that we provide. So you can start, developing, for example, part of your methods, analytical methods, for example, in RStudio. Then you can save the results, in the workspace, and you can continue your analysis by using a notebook, or you can integrate your own software, implement it in any language that may be R or Java or Python or whatever, and then you can combine all these software easily and exchange data through the workspace automatically without, never need, to download the documents and, the data sets on your desktop. In terms of analytics framework, there are several technologies that we have integrated. You can use notebooks by using Jupyter, or you can use RStudio, or you can integrate your software. Any software that runs on a Linux machine, can easily be integrated in the platform, and you can run this software on distributed computing. So on cluster of servers, transparently to you. So this allow, you can also share, anything that you integrate. So you can use, in a private mode, or you can decide to share with other users. And all the platforms that we have integrated, support, common capabilities. So as I said, everything is use a common workspace. Everything, support sharing provenance. Everything, rely on parallel processing on multi-core machines. But also, there are a number of additional, features that, you can exploit by using, these technologies. to conclude, this very, very fast, overview of the Blue Cloud VLE, let me say it's just one common place where you can collaborate with other users, where you can share, data sets, methods, software, results, everything. You can reuse what you do or what other users did, and share with you. You can reproduce again and again, your processes by changing parameters or by changing, the input data sets and so on. That's all, for this quick overview. Clearly, I'm here, to answer to your questions.
Thank you very much, Lino. So it's really exciting to see
Welcome.
how Blue Cloud is shaping up. We unfortunately don't have time today to show you all the resources available in Blue Cloud, but you will have time to explore them and to learn more about them during the warm-up. But we did want to bring you at least one practical example today of how marine scientists are using Blue Cloud to accelerate ocean research. And we have Patricia Cabrera with us, who's coordinating one of the Blue Cloud so-called demonstrators. Blue Cloud demonstrators are basically case studies showcasing how Blue Cloud can contribute to support web-based open science in the marine domain. And I guess what open science in turn can deliver across different research topics. Patricia and her team are working specifically on one essential ocean variable, which is plankton. And I guess we can wait to hear more about it. Patricia, so thank you very much for joining us today. I think we can give you the floor now, and maybe you can share with us how is your team using Blue Cloud to support ocean knowledge. Over to you, Patricia.
Thank you very much. I cannot start my video. I think maybe someone needs to start it for me. Julia?
I can see your first screen.
Yes.
Your
and
first slide.
And my camera?
I cannot see you. I do not see you.
Yeah, now, because I couldn't open it on my own. I think now it's okay.
Is it now? We can see you perfectly, Patricia.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Thank you very much, Julia. Thank you for this presentation. Indeed, I work for the Flanders Marine Institute in Belgium, and I am representing the demonstrator called Zoo and Phytoplankton, Essential Ocean Variables, but there is a big team behind this demonstrator. And for the last 2 years, we have been using all these Blue Cloud services. That's why in this presentation, I will show you how can Blue Cloud services support ocean knowledge, or how it did it for our demonstrator. Voila. But before entering the technical part of the demonstrator and the virtual research environment, and just to put you into context on why do we study plankton, why do we need to understand better what is the current state and the future state of the plankton communities, I will show you briefly in this schema. So first, I'll start with these little tiny creatures in the ocean, which they are very important because they are the foundation and the vital component of most of the trophic marine webs. But not only that, specifically phytoplankton contributes to about 50% of the global Earth photosynthesis, and as well it contributes by sequestering the carbon that we are producing in the atmosphere, in the terrestrial environment, in the biological carbon pump in the ocean. As well, so plankton, which fits in phytoplankton, but it is also served as the food for many other higher trophic levels in the ocean, until we reach to the one in the top, which is humans, that we depend in our diet for eating the fish. Now, what happens if I remove from this schema the plankton? So the system will collapse, right? It's a keystone in this food web. And this is why we work in this demonstrator. We really want to understand globally and regionally as well, how is the state of the plankton, and also to model, because most of this work has been done by doing big data analysis and using machine learning techniques. So we want to understand what is the future. Now, on the other hand, also in the last decades, there has been a rapid increase on how we observe the ocean. So there is much more new technologies, and the way we are collecting the data, it's changing rapidly. And all this data, it's sparse in many leading European data infrastructures, and that's the purpose and what the explanation of DIC of having all this data, all this federation of all these data infrastructures together to join forces to showcase the Blue Cloud. Now, for this, the main key services and how do we apply this in our demonstrator. So to start with the Blue Cloud Access and Data Service, now it is much easier to access all these data sets straight from the virtual research environment. So there is the challenge, it does not only lies on how to access them, but also in how to combine them in the same space where you're going to analyze them and you're going to even publish your results. Second, the explanation of Lino on what we can use in the virtual research environment. For us, it was really helpful, the fact of doing a really heavy computational analysis. For instance, there is one model that we are using that it really requires a lot of iteration of this model, repetitions, and it didn't need a lot of time when one would do it in their own computer, but by doing it in the Blue Cloud virtual research environment, we could really reduce this time from hours to minutes. So this was really helpful for us. As well, all these methods and scripts that have been developed in this demonstrator, they are in the form of Jupyter notebooks or are markdown, which it's really much easier for users to reuse these methodologies, and this is also available in the VRE. And there is many other capabilities that we didn't use yet, and that we are really excited that in this hackathon, you could use it, like all these methods importer and the softwares that Lino explained. So all these little script, little functions that we all know, for instance, in R, they could really be converted into these softwares. And finally, all these products, they have been published in the Blue Data Catalog, which is also connected to Zenodo, and this, it really helps us to gain visibility and to be able to use, to see everything we're doing, and that it is available for users to really work further on this. Like, for instance, in this hackathon, we're very excited with this amount of number of people joining, and hopefully reaching until the end and building in our products. It's also a very good example on how to disseminate these results. So I won't repeat all the demonstrators, but I will just show you very briefly what we have done in the Zoowan phytoplankton EOB demonstrator 1. And this consists in 3 different services. Okay, it's 3 different parts that I will show you just very briefly, that we have used different types of data. We have combined it, we have applied models, and we have come up with some maps, some global and regional results, and that we're hoping that you can really keep working on these, taste it, find ways to improve it. So the first service is the phytoplankton, global phytoplankton 3D maps. So here we used really a lot of a big set input of data, mainly from Argo floats and Copernicus, and this all was applied a neural network model in the form of Jupyter notebooks. So you can find there is a specific presentation, a tutorial on how to run these Jupyter notebooks. And there you could really find all the the little steps that have been done to be able to produce these maps here. So what you can see here is one of the main output of the model. On the panel on the left, we can observe the chlorophyll A concentrations. So this is a proxy of phytoplankton biomass. And this, we look at it for the year 2018. This is for what this product has been developed, but the idea is that this could be reusable and perhaps used with more year data or even other additional data that could improve it. So we can see the different depth intervals, as you can see a GIF running. Then for the second part of this global phytoplankton 3D maps, we have the panel on the right, where we observe phytoplankton functional types, which is a proxy of phytoplankton diversity. And we see from bottom to the top, from the smallest to the largest size of phytoplankton class. And again, it is for the same year, 2018. We have this for the 12 months. I am just here now representing the typical winter month, where we can see a real gradient of the changes in the phytoplankton blooms. Then the second part of the second service of this demonstrator is zooplankton gridded maps. In this case, we have a regional product, but again, the idea is that we can also use and extend this to perhaps a global product. For this, we have used zooplankton abundances of the most 6 of the most abundant copepod species in the Northeast Atlantic region. And this is using CPR data, continuous plankton recorder data, which is a very long time series data, but it has quite heterogeneous observations. And for this reason, by applying a neural network model and the DIVA-ND tool, we can go from the maps you observe on the left panels, where you see just bin observations, to more gridded field on the maps on the right. This has been also combined with other environmental variables from Pittonet and nutrients from the World Ocean Atlas and the JEPCO bathymetry. And again, this is also presented through the Jupyter notebooks, and this is written in Julia. And the final product is what we call the modeling phyto and zooplankton interactions. And this aims to understand what are the drivers that limit phytoplankton abundance. This is also a regional product. This has been done for the Belgian part of the North Sea. In the North Atlantic, and we have used zooplankton and phytoplankton data from LifeWatch Belgium, and also accessible from EMBL Biology, now in access in the Blue Cloud, and is presented in an R Markdown that you can choose different options. You can run it with smaller iterations or much more iterations, and see what are the different results. Here is we see the different drivers, nutrients, and zooplankton grazing in phytoplankton, or temperature, and how they limit the phytoplankton. So these are the main results of the demonstrator, but again, we really want you to discover, look at them and see how you can hack them in this hackathon. So as well, we're hoping that with these results and the results that can come out after this hackathon, this can fit and can serve as information for policymaking and for all these initiatives that are now being taken in place. Like, for instance, this studying plankton, it has really a good fit with the good environmental status and many of the different ecosystem aspects that you can see in the figure up, but as well with the SDGs from the United Nations, zero hunger, climate actions, life below the water. And finally, we also hope that the work in progress with the essential ocean variables bio-eco panel from the GOOS, the Global Ocean Observing System, can also use this result to further develop the specification sheets for this. And like this, many other biodiversity strategies that are being taken in place. So that's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Patricia, for a very inspiring presentation. Not sure if we have maybe time to pick up on one or two questions. So Natalia, I'm not sure whether we have any questions in the pipeline for any of our panelists. So for Dick, for Lynn, or for Patricia.
Yeah, we received a couple of questions in the Q&A, but they're already being answered by Pascal.
Okay.
By Lino, so
that means that we can continue with our program. Okay, so far we've hopefully given you a taste, at least, of the core services that Blue Cloud offers to support open science in the marine domain. We've just given you a good example of how Blue Cloud's resources are being applied to advance knowledge of plankton specifically. I would say probably enough for now, as you will have plenty of time to learn more about Blue Cloud services in the coming weeks throughout the Ideation Warm Up and the different resources and live events that we've set up for you. But for now, we wanted to use the rest of our time today to focus a bit more on the scope of the Blue Cloud Hackathon, and to also give you an initial taste of the topics and the challenges that we will be inviting you to address. So over the next 10 minutes, I will give you an overview of what the Blue Cloud Hackathon is about. Those of you who have already registered to the hackathon obviously probably have good oversight, but just in case it's useful for anyone who's still not fully on board, I will explain who is the hackathon targeting as participants, so you can better assess not only if this hackathon is for you, but also who should you seek to bring on board your team if you're planning to set up one, or to help you reflect on what skills you can offer to a team if you're looking to join one. I will also hopefully give you some additional reasons to participate in the hackathon all the way to the end without surrendering along the process. And as I said, I will briefly go over the topics of the hackathon, but very, very briefly, as the idea is that we look deeper into them during a roundtable with my Blue Cloud colleagues right after this presentation. So very briefly, I guess by now you probably already know what the Blue Cloud Hackathon is about. You know that basically a hackathon is an event that brings teams of people together to work on a given challenge over a short but intense period of time using whatever resources are available. And normally the team that comes closer to solving the challenge is somehow rewarded. In a similar way, the Blue Cloud Hackathon is an event that will be bringing people together to work over a number of ocean challenges using resources made available by the Blue Cloud project. And you've just heard about Blue Cloud's data discovery and access service and Blue Cloud's virtual research environment. Through the next 3 weeks during this Ideation Warm Up, you're going to be learning about Blue Cloud's virtual labs, about the innovative services that they offer. And basically, the Blue Cloud Hackathon, as you will have heard already, is an opportunity for you to not only dig deeper into these services hands-on, but actually to test and explore how you could potentially use them or even improve them to help solve the specific ocean challenges that we'll be presenting to you. So a bit like joining a game, but working with real life challenges that we do face in our relationship with the ocean. Now, what challenges are those? We have selected 4 topics that will be framing the challenges that will be presented to participants. Understanding the ocean is the first topic, which connects with our basic need to improve our current knowledge of the ocean. And in this topic, we'll be more specifically looking at learning more about the role of this tiny little creature that Patricia referred to, plankton, and the role that plankton has in supporting life in the ocean. The second topic connects with our need to feed the world and to basically procure protein for a growing population. And through this topic and its challenges, we'll look deeper into unveiling the risks of relying on aquaculture to meet this objective. The third topic of the hackathon relates to our need to better anticipate changes in marine ecosystems and to provide early warning mechanisms on the effects of climate change or human-induced impacts on the ocean. And last but not least, we also have a wildcard that will allow you to use Blue Cloud services and resources on their own or in combination with any other resource to either build on these services, to improve them, as I said, or to develop completely new services from scratch that could contribute to our mission of decoding the ocean. And we'll go deeper into this topic shortly, but as you can probably imagine, there are many different ways in which we could approach these challenges. And for the purpose of this hackathon, as it has also been mentioned at the beginning, Blue Cloud is about harnessing the power of cloud technologies to bridge computer science and ocean science. So it's about tapping on marine data and algorithms and analytical approaches to big data to evolve innovative ways of tackling ocean challenges. And it's, I would say, most of all about reaching solutions faster by using collaborative tools that allow us to work together, transcending geographical and hopefully disciplinary borders. So basically, if you are a professional working as a marine data scientist, or if you're a marine researcher, either working for an academic institution or for a company that is active in the blue economy, or if you're a computer scientist, or even if you're a student looking to develop a professional career in any of these fields, then I would say you've arrived to the right hackathon. This hackathon is definitely meant for you. But we also know that solutions to complex problems often requires thinking outside of the box and working in teams that bring different skills to the table. So I would also say that if you're passionate about the ocean and about finding solutions to improve the way that we interact with it, even if you come from a different background, then this hackathon is most likely for you too. It is important that you know that using Blue Cloud services will require having some basic skills, being familiar with R, with Jupyter notebooks, but you can always, I mean, if you can team up with someone who has these coding skills, then I'm sure there will be other useful skills that you will also be able to bring to your team. If you are a great communicator, for example, or if you're good at imagining ways of bringing innovation to the market, or at understanding how to deliver a great user experience, for example, then I'm sure that you have a place in this hackathon too. Now, you all might have different reasons for being here today. If you were to ask me, why should I join this hackathon? First of all, I would say it is a great opportunity to be amongst the very first users of an open science ecosystem that is offering services that have been specially developed to cater to marine scientists. So it's a great way of getting a sneak preview of these services. And during the hackathon, you will be able to interact with the very experts and professionals that have developed them and be inspired by their work. But also, because by participating in the hackathon, if you find Blue Cloud services useful, but you're, I know, still missing important features that might be useful to your work, because these services are still on a testing phase, you will also have a chance to provide your feedback and to influence how these experts shape their future evolution, or even give us ideas for new future services to make sure that Blue Cloud really caters to your needs. I'm also sure that the hackathon will be a great chance to meet other people working in the field who might share your interests, and who knows, maybe a way to make new contacts and meet future colleagues. But if this is not convincing enough, we also have a great prize pool for those teams that come forward with the best ideas to address the hackathon challenges. We have up to 60,000 euros in prizes for the winners, as well as some additional great treats. And you can learn all about the prize pool and the terms and conditions that apply in the hackathon platform. And I have to say that it's very important that you read these terms and conditions, as there are some important limitations that apply to monetary prizes if you don't live in a country that is a member state of the European Union. So if you have any questions regarding these limitations after you go through the terms and conditions, we're most happy to respond to them and to clarify any outstanding issues. So if you haven't registered yet, you're still on time. We will continue welcoming registrations to the hackathon up until January 30th, when all the teams that wish to join the hackathon will have to be formed. So you have time until then, but not after January 30th. We are aware that this might not be your usual hackathon, in the sense that Blue Cloud is a somewhat complex ecosystem, and it's not so obviously easy to understand what the ecosystem does and for whom, and how it can be specifically useful to you. And that is why we have structured the Blue Cloud Hackathon around different stages. So precisely to acknowledge this fact and to give you time to grow acquainted with it. This live event, as we've said, is the official kickoff of the 3-week virtual ideation warm-up that is starting today, and which is an optional activity. The objective of the warm-up is to provide you with that window of opportunity that will allow you to get familiar with Blue Cloud services before the hackathon. So over the next 3 weeks, we will be providing you with resources such as video tutorials and handbooks to show you how to register to Blue Cloud, which, by the way, you can already do. What functionalities are available to you, how to navigate through its different virtual labs to better understand what's inside of Blue Cloud at your own pace with the support of good guiding materials. You can already start diving into some of these resources. The Blue Cloud Hackathon Starter Kit is already available in the Hackathon platform Event Tornado. By the end of the week, we will also be making the resource kit available to you. The resource kit outlines all the different resources that you will be able to tap on during the hackathon. We sort of want to pace what we give you a bit so that we do not overwhelm you with too much too soon. So we will be making this document public by the end of the week. But as I said, they contain a lot of very useful resources that will help you to get familiar with Blue Cloud. From now on up until February 4th, we will also be hosting live interactive sessions every Monday and Friday, so that as you dig deeper into these resources, you have the chance to ask questions directly to the Blue Cloud team. So if there's anything that is not clear, we will be there to clarify. We'll also be there to provide you with some additional inspiration and with matchmaking and team formation opportunities. And in the last panel today, we will give you an overview of the full agenda of the different sessions that we have lined up, so that you know what to expect when. Then after these 3 weeks of optional content, on February 7th, the virtual hackathon will kick off. That's when the clock will really start ticking, and you will have to work within your teams to shape and deliver your ideas for innovative solutions to address the challenges presented. We have a great team of mentors, as Kate mentioned at the beginning, who will be there to help you and to guide your team as you evolve your ideas. And before the hackathon kicks off, you will know which mentor will be specifically assigned to your team, but you will be able to find the contact references for all mentors in the hackathon platform in the starter kit. We are also proud to have a fantastic team of judges coming from different backgrounds who will be evaluating your ideas. And I want to take this opportunity to thank each and every one of them for so generously contributing their time and expertise and knowledge to this hackathon. We are confident that they will do a great job in fairly evaluating your work against the criteria that we have defined. And it is really important, I would say crucial, that you do look into this criteria, which you will find in the starter kit before the hackathon starts. So bottom line, I guess my key message to you today is make sure that you start by reading the starter kit, because there's a lot of useful information in there for you. My colleagues, Hugo and Michele from Creative District will be sharing more information on the practicalities of the hackathon. But before we move to that, I would like to also take some time to dig a bit deeper into the topics and the challenges that will be presented to you during the hackathon. And for that purpose, I would like to now invite you to a conversation with the scientists that are leading the development of some of the services and resources that you will find in Blue Cloud, and who have been responsible together with their teams for proposing the challenges that you will be addressing during the Blue Cloud Hackathon. So it's my pleasure to introduce you to Stéphane Pesant, to Lennert Schepers, Anton Ellenbroek, Massimiliano Drudi, and Dominique Obaton. Welcome all, and thank you for joining us today. I'm not sure if I could maybe ask you to turn on your camera so that we can all see you, or I'm not sure if I need to stop sharing my screen for us to be able to see you. Let me try that. I can see you now. Okay, so there we have Stéphane, Lennert, Anton has just joined us, Massimiliano, and hopefully we have Dominique with us there somewhere, even if we can see you in the screen at the moment. So Stéphane, Lennert, Anton, Massimiliano, Dominique, welcome. I have the impression that your life is a constant hackathon in the sense that you're constantly working to find solutions to ocean challenges, likely with a little less pressure, I would say, and maybe a bit more time than our brave hackathon participants, but it's still not an easy task. So could you maybe please take a minute each to briefly introduce yourselves and to explain what is it that you do for a living and how your work relates to the ocean? I'm sure our hackathon participants would love to know a bit more about you. Maybe starting with you, Stéphane.
Yes, thank you, Julia. It's a pleasure to be there today. So my name is Stéphane Pesant. I work at the European Bioinformatics Institute in Cambridge, but I trained as a plankton ecologist. But over the last decade, I focused on developing standard methods to collect and to curate metadata across disciplines. That's very important. And I did that through a number of European projects, as well as the Tara Oceans expedition. And in the Blue Cloud, I'm contributing to the plankton genomics demonstrator.
Thank you very much, Stéphane. Lennert.
Hello, everybody. My name is Lennert Schepers. I work at the Flanders Marine Institute. I'm a colleague of Patricia, who presented before. And at the data center in Flanders Marine Institute, we collect, collate, manage, and curate a lot of data. And we try to streamline it to European infrastructure so it can be reused. We do that for various types of data. But I would say that we have a specialty in biological data. For example, with the Aerobis database, we manage EMBL biology, but we also have some other systems, for example, the World Register of Marine Species, marine regions that might ring a bell to some of you. That are some of these projects are linked to the LifeWatch S3. And in Blue Cloud, we are both a Blue Cloud infrastructure, so EMBL biology and Aerobis, and we also are guiding one of the demonstrators, the one that Patricia presented before about plankton essential ocean variables.
Thank you, Lennert. Anton. We can't hear you, Anton, or the volume is very low.
If I talk like this is better?
Much better. There you go. Thank you.
Well, you have to do with my hand in my face then. So again, Anton Ellenbroek. I work at FVO of the UN here in beautiful Rome. And I am just the face of two demonstrators. So I represent a team. It's not only me, it's not only FVO, it's a collaboration with IID in France, with Forth in Greece in particular. And we developed two demonstrators, one more focused on describing the location of fisheries and the type of fisheries and how they interact with the environment. And the other one is more with CLS in France on the detection of aquaculture sites that can either be cages or can be aquaculture ponds. And now the challenge for the hackathon is that how does these aquaculture farms, cages, and ponds, how do they interact with the environment? So people that can help us to predict what's going to happen with aquaculture in the future, they are welcome to join the hackathon, and we will do our best to help you with making a success of your proposal. Thank you.
Thank you, Anton. Massimiliano.
Thank you, Julia. My name is Massimiliano Drudi. I work for CMCC Foundation, and my focus is the development of the Marine Forecasting Center in the scope of Copernicus for the Mediterranean Sea, and also the development of downstream applications. And my contribution in Blue Cloud is the coordination of the virtual lab for the marine environmental indicators. Thank you.
Thank you. Dominique.
Hello, I am Dominique Baton. I work at IFREMER. I am dealing with the coordination of management of data. And in different European and project and initiative. And within Blue Cloud, I'm not responsible of any demonstrator. I am the leader of the work package working where demonstrators are. So I just have an overview of the demonstrators, but I don't know much about each of them in details, as my other colleagues. And for the hackathon, I am responsible of the last challenge, which is a wild card.
All right. So I don't know if you mentioned it, but just so you know, we have here 2 marine scientists, 1 data scientist, 1 computer engineer, and 1 software engineer, remotely working together from different cities in Belgium, France, Italy. I don't know if I'm leaving any city outside, but how great is that? How great is that? And that's the power of Blue Cloud, I guess. So Stéphane and Lennert, let's maybe start with topic number 1. I wanted to put it on the screen, but only if it doesn't impede me from seeing you. So let's maybe give it a try, and if not, I'll stop. But you are the lead mentors for topic 1 of the Blue Cloud Hackathon, Understanding the Ocean. We're all more or less aware of how little we yet know about the ocean. And we also know that we cannot properly manage or preserve anything without a good knowledge base. You're both working to advance knowledge on one essential ocean variable, which is plankton. Each of you are leading 2 different teams that have set up 2 different virtual labs in Blue Cloud. And you're co-leading the 2 challenges that will be presented to hackathon participants under this topic, which are now on the screen and which are closely related to your work. So could you maybe first give us a high-level idea of what will hackathon participants find in each of these virtual labs, and how might they use what is available to address these hackathon challenges? And we can start with you, Lennert, if you want, and then move to Stéphane.
Yes, I can be quite short because you had the introduction from
Patricia.
So you have seen that we have 3 different types, 3 different parts where we generate phytoplankton maps, 3D maps, also in depth. We have zooplankton products, also maps, and we have a model. And in the demonstrator or in the virtual lab, you also find the data that is needed to generate those products, also the scripts, the notebooks that you find to generate them. So all of that is available for the participants to build further upon, to test it, to mix it with other demonstrators and so on, to add new data. So all that is available for the hackathon participants.
Stéphane.
Yes. So for the second challenge, challenge 1B. So the virtual lab for marine genomics or plankton genomics includes all the data sets and all the scripts that are necessary to address challenge 1B. So it includes pre-formatted environmental data sets from the World Ocean Atlas and from the Copernicus Marine Services. It includes a georeference data set of gene clusters from the Terra Oceans expedition. It uses a catalog that links the gene clusters to metabolic pathways that are in many cases relevant for ecosystem services, such as food security, climate change, human health. In other words, it links to genomic functions, such as primary production, carbon sequestration or the biosynthesis of different molecules, including drugs that can be used in pharmaceutics. Then the VLab also contains the code for habitat modeling, habitat model. And that model brings together, combines the data sets and allows you to predict the distribution of the selected gene clusters. And that works on a global scale. So it's a global prediction. So that's what you will find in the VLab. And now your challenge will be to demonstrate how these resources can be used to study ecosystem services that are provided by the marine microbiome or the plankton in the Atlantic Ocean. We specify Atlantic Ocean in the challenge. It could be worldwide, but for that challenge, we specify the Atlantic Ocean.
All right. Thank you, Lennert and Stéphane. Another question from me to you would maybe be, why are these challenges challenging in a way? I mean, can scientists not solve these challenges on their own? Or in another words, maybe why is this hackathon useful? What will participants be able to contribute that will support your work and maybe the work of other marine scientists?
So I would say that we have been working on this demonstrator for almost 2 years now. But of course, we can do more, and we don't have the time to do everything ourselves. And that's why we want you, participants of the hackathon, to find out more details in those products. So you can always add new data, because there isn't a vast amount of data from different resources. You can combine them, add new data, or maybe find the specific spots of your interests and highlight new results or new insights. So I think that is the main idea about the hackathon, to discover and try new things.
Would you like to add something to that, Stéphane?
Yep. Yeah, I think the answer to your question is yes. Definitely, scientists could address challenge 1B on their own, using their own resources on their own machine locally. But the real challenge of the hackathon is to basically step outside your comfort zone, your bubble, and go into a shared environment and try to do the type of science that you like to do it on a shared environment. That's the real challenge.
All right, so I guess collaboration is the key word probably. So there you go, it's good stuff, thank you. So if anyone has any questions for Stéphane or Lennert, please do not hesitate to ask them through the chat. In the meantime, we'll move to topic 2 of the hackathon. Anton, and let me see if I can quickly put it in the screen. Just briefly even. So Anton, you work for the Food and Agriculture Organization, for FAO, as lead mentor for topic 2. You will be helping participants working on innovative solutions to feed the world. The scope of challenges, the challenges connected to this topic is of course much more specific than this higher goal, and they're focused on aquaculture, as you already mentioned, more specifically on better understanding the risks of aquaculture to the marine environment, but also the risks of the marine environment to aquaculture. So what else can you tell us about these challenges that might help participants to better understand what is it that we're after, or what angle can they take at coming forward with ideas and innovative solutions?
Okay, so you already mentioned the word risk. So I think if for me, one opportunity would be to develop a sort of a risk assessment of what happens in the environment on my cages. So we will provide in our VLab, we will provide a map of locations of aquaculture in the Mediterranean. So what is then for the future, how do we balance the risk that aquaculture has on pollution, the environment, and vice versa? What are the risks of polluting and changes in oceanic conditions or water conditions, or maybe even claims for space? So what are the risks that we see that put a pressure on the aquaculture that we have today, or the aquaculture that we are planning for tomorrow? And it works both ways. So risk is coming from my aquaculture cage to the environment, and vice versa, the environment poses a risk to my aquaculture industry. So how do we make a good risk analysis of the two types of risks?
Okay. So maybe building on that, Blue Cloud has the financial support of the European Union. We've also heard from Patricia that we're hoping that Blue Cloud will also contribute to higher policy goals. And that's a bit the motivation of supporting open science. How can solving these specific challenges under your topic contribute to the UN Agenda 2030?
It's of course, yeah, highly relevant that we have a good understanding of what's happening in the water. So anything that can help us to improve our predictions or improve our understanding of especially the role of aquaculture in local food systems would, I think, help us to achieve the Agenda 2030, the SDG goals. But let's also not be too ambitious. So we do not expect the hackathon to be a great step forward, but also small steps already help a lot. So thank you for joining this challenge.
Okay, but at least good to keep those higher goals in mind. Always, for inspiration. Yeah. Okay, Massimiliano, you and your team will be providing support to participants on topic 3, predicting environmental risks. Let me see if we can quickly put it on the screen. For me, this is one of the things that I find most amazing about humans, right? That the capabilities that we're evolving to observe the world and to try to anticipate the future based on our knowledge of the past and to try to prepare and to adapt to whatever is coming. So in Blue Cloud, you're leading a virtual lab offering different services that support the development of marine environmental indicators, which can in fact become a dashboard for monitoring the state of the ocean and result in better decision making. So what can you tell us about these services and what they do? And how could they be useful to those working on assessing the effects of pollution on the marine environment or anticipating future risks like the effects of climate change on marine ecosystems?
Well, today we know the human activities are affecting the healthiness of our marine ecosystems because of the greenhouse gas emissions and the pollution. And what happens? The ocean variables are directly or indirectly impacted by those pressures. And the virtual lab is offering a set of algorithms that can be used to assess the environment condition. So those who are working on the monitoring of marine environment can therefore apply the algorithms to the variables and produce effective indicators that, for instance, can support the preservation of the good environmental status, or still can help to assess trends which are causing negative effects on the healthiness of the ecosystem, or also loss of productivity.
Okay, there you go. So if you have any questions for Massimiliano, you can start reflecting on those again. I mean, now if you want to share them in the chat, we'll move to last but not least, Dominique. In the hackathon, we're giving participants the possibility of playing a wild card. So I guess my question to you would be, why a wild card?
Well, I think what you have seen from my colleague, each of them, they built a demonstrator with several services inside. And what we would like to do in Blue Cloud, it's also that you build your own service made of different parts of the demonstrators and services that we provided. So it will be a service built with different services that we thought of, with different data, with some of the data, with different notebooks, or with some of the notebooks and so on, to build something that can show us, for example, the link between different variables and parameters of the sea.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, Dominique, basically the wildcard is sort of an open window for participants to explore Blue Cloud and to come up with ideas to improve those services that are now available in any way, right? So
it's to improve or to propose something different from what we have built, let's say, because to improve in 3 days, it's too short probably. But we have thought of something and we built something, and now we are very open, and we like very much to have ideas and proposition with services built in another way that we thought of. That's more like this. Yes.
Okay, there you go. So I guess you can't say that we're not giving you a broad range of options and possibilities for participation. Okay, so one last question to everyone, because I'm not sure. I think we still have a little bit of time even to pick up questions from participants. But maybe one question to all of you: so considering each of the different topics framing the hackathon challenges, are there any tips that you could give to those hackathon teams that decide to participate under the specific topic that you are mentoring? And I will then, let's start on the reverse order now, maybe with you, Dominique. So any tips for participants?
Well, I would say that they need to build very with attention their ideas and proposition, to have something which is at the same time, this is the ideal, innovative, and which is realistic. So good luck, and try to have a team, a team with different people, not just one person, but a team with several people. Yeah. So take time to build your proposition. Yes, I would say that.
All right. So innovative and realistic.
Yes,
that's what we're taking home. Massimiliano.
Well, it's a similar suggestion. In my case, for the topic 3, the advice is to have into the team different expertises. For instance, someone with a scientific background for the climate change, and someone who is familiar with the adaptation and mitigation strategies as well. Those are very important.
Okay, so look for
together and collaborate.
Okay, different backgrounds on board your team. Anton.
Yeah, RTFM. So read the manual before you make a proposal. And good proposals are, I think, way more important than good results. So also try to think about what you think that we like to see as a sort of a proposition. So I think especially in the case of aquaculture, the interaction with the environment, I think so Massimiliano has a great case and a great set of data to work with. And also the other, like Lennert, has great data sets on species distributions, for instance. So if you want to work more on species interactions, also try to think about how to use Blue Cloud services, so the data discovery, the data access service, to come up with a great idea on how we can then in the future monitor the impact of the environment on aquaculture and vice versa. So try to think more and work less. Yeah.
That's a great tip, Anton. Thank you. And as Anton just said, I'll just use this as an opportunity to remind you to read indeed the starter kit and the resource kit. But also you will find that we've made a number of video tutorials introducing all the different topics and challenges where our lead mentors have taken time to actually provide you with additional insight and tips and good recommendations. So make sure that you browse through those as well whenever you have time. You have time over the next 3 weeks. Lennert, any additional tips for our participants?
Well, I fully agree with the previous ones, and I can add 2 more. First of all, ask questions, because we have a great team of mentors, both from the technical side, from the Blue Cloud infrastructure, also from the different Blue Cloud data infrastructures, but also people working in the demonstrators themselves. So we are there for you to help you. So don't spend too much time looking for answers, but of course read the manual. And lastly, try to enjoy it and connect with people. I hope that it works online, but I'm sure that we'll have a great time together. So that's my advice.
Thank you, Lennert. So basically enjoy and make sure to ask questions. And in the next panel, we're going to explain how you can ask questions to your mentors. We'll get there in a minute. Stéphane.
Yes, maybe a final tip about the ambition of the solution that the teams are proposing. Of course, one ambition of the Blue Cloud is that users bring in their own data sets, bring in their own scripts, and they share that and they do their science in the infrastructure. However, the hackathon is, as Dominique said, it's very short. It's 3 days. It's your first experience with the Blue Cloud. So my tip would be, don't worry if you focus only on the data sets that we provide, only with the codes that we provide, and come up with innovative science out of the using these resources. So if you manage to bring in your own data sets and your own code, perfect. But if you don't, if you use what is there, that's perfect for me.
That's great to thank you very much, Stéphane. So let's maybe quickly look at the chat box, Natalie. I'm not sure whether there might be any questions addressed to our panelists.
There are no open questions at this moment.
No open questions at the moment. Okay, so maybe we can indeed move on to the next panel. Just maybe a reminder that Stéphane, Lennert, Anton, Massimiliano, and Dominique will be here with us next week, Monday. So that's on January 24th, on board one of our weekly live sessions to provide additional inspiration and recommendation on the hackathon challenges. So you have indeed time this week to explore your options and join us next week if you wish for additional insight or to resolve any outstanding questions as you browse through the resources that we have provided you. So we are now, I guess, going to move to the final session of our event today, and I am going to, let's see if I can do this. Yeah, so I'm going to give the floor to Michele and Ugo from Creative District, who are very kindly helping us to make sure that we deliver you with the best experience possible during this hackathon. And Michele and Ugo will be going through the next steps ahead for those of you either already registered to the hackathon or who are interested in joining us over the next weeks. So Michele and Ugo, over to you.
Thank you very much. I don't know if you can hear me good.
Yes, I can. Yes, we can, I hope.
Awesome. Let me then, are you gonna share the slides? Should I share them myself?
You can share them yourself. So Ugo,
very well.
Yes.
Okay, let's then let's go ahead and present this. So hello everyone. It's amazing to see so many of you joining from all over the world. So thank you for joining us today for this first session. I'm Hugo Espinosa. I'm part of the team of Creative District that helps coordinate this event together with Michele Erba. I'm gonna go through what is going to happen in the next few weeks during the warm-up sessions. This is your very first session, which is the kickoff. And in this session, as you can understand, we just moving along and understanding what is going to be the basis of the event. But you, as you might see here in the screen, there will be 2 sessions per week. And each week will have one milestone to cover. The next session of this first week will be this Friday, which is live session number 2. It will start at 3 p.m. and it will last around 1 hour. And the theme of that event will be hands-on navigating the Blue Cloud. And for that very first week, we will have the first milestone, which will be to register to the Blue Cloud and become familiar with the structure and functionalities and basic use. So this will be part of what we will be discussing during this and next live session. So, and then we will move to the next session, where will be again on Monday. So just for you to know, every session will be either Monday or Friday. The third session, the live session, will be on Monday, 24th of January, and we'll start at 4 p.m. And we will be anyway sending you reminders for all of these sessions. The theme of that session will be what oceans challenges will the Blue Cloud Hackathon target. And the other session of that second week will be live session number 4, which will happen on Friday, 28th of January, and it will start at 3 p.m. And the theme will be the matchmaking and team formation, which is key in order for you to start getting to know the rest of the teams, what are your skills and so on. And obviously, the end of that week will be key in order for forming teams. As I just mentioned, that milestone is you need to get acquainted with the challenges, mentors, select topics of interest, and form teams. The last week of this warm-up will consist on the live session number 5, which will start on Monday 31st around at 4 p.m. And the theme will be gear up for the 3-day hackathon. And the last session will be that Friday, which will be the 4th of February at 3 p.m. and will be the final countdown. In that last week, the last milestone will be to gear up for the hackathon, ask any outstanding questions, and get ready to create deliverables during the hackathon. As I mentioned at the beginning, myself and Michele, we are part of the non-technical team. So if you have any questions regarding of when to be at some point, what do I need for participate, or I cannot form my team correctly, please search us in the platform, which we will be sending you all of the information, and we will be happy to help you. And with that, I give the word to my colleague, Michele. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hugo. I don't know if I can already share my screen, if you can stop sharing.
Yeah, sure. One second.
All right, I think I've been able to change it, and now you should be able to see the platform. All right, very good. So some of you are already familiar with this platform because some of you are already registered, but I guess that some of you are here to better understand what this hackathon is about. And Julia did a great job before me with all the panelists to explain that. In these 10 minutes, I'm going to explain you how to leverage the platform. So here, as you can see, we have several tabs. The first one is the home page. And if you want to register, it's very simple. You click on register here. You create your profile and you're in. Then we have the info tab here. The info tab provides you with a very short video with information on, for example, how to register, how to create your team, how to submit the deliverable. So if you play this video, you're going to be able to understand how to correctly register for this hackathon. And then here we have other two tabs. The first one is judges and mentors. Here you can see more information about the judges, understand, for example, who are the Blue Cloud technical mentors, understand who are the mentors for the challenge number 1, understanding the ocean, and so on. So here you have all of this information. If you look here, you always have the tag for the mentor. So this is the name, the username of the mentor on the platform, where you can send a direct message to him or her. Here, very important, I mentioned before, here we have the starter kit and resources tab, which is new. In this tab, you can download the starter kit. The starter kit is a document containing several information about the topics and challenges, the description of the deliverables, link to resource kit, many information about how your idea will be evaluated. You just click on this link and you will be able to download it. Then we have the resource kit. The resource kit will be available allegedly after 24th of January. When it will be available, you can download it here without any problem. And as mentioned before, we have all the video tutorials here. So the tutorials on the introduction to the Blue Cloud platform, the tutorial on the data discovery and access services, tutorials on the challenges. You have all the information that you can use here. Then if you go to the events chat, I'm going to explain you how to leverage this platform to get support, basically. As you can see here, we have several channels. The first one is the challenges support. In this channel, you can select, you can click on your challenge category. For example, let's pretend that I'm a participant and I would like to apply for challenge 3A. So I just click on this link. And then what happens is that I can now see the chat of the challenge 3A. And this is the chat where I can contact the mentors and I can ask questions to them. So this is the place to do that. Before writing my message, I want to make sure that I click on join here. And after I join, the support channel will appear here, basically. Then we have another support channel. It's called Blue Cloud Platform Support. And this channel is there for you in case you have problem in registering to the Blue Cloud. So in case you have issues in registering, you can drop a message here, and we're going to get back to you ASAP to help you in the registration to the Blue Cloud. We have a third support channel, which is the data discovery and access service channel. And exactly as explained before, here you can drop down the messages, and Paul, which is the responsible for the data discovery and access service, will answer to you. So this is basically how to receive support on the platform, how to contact your mentors. And as said before, please do not hesitate to do that. We are here to help you. Contact the mentors. They're there for you. One other last thing that I would like to tell you, which is very important, for a great experience on this event, I will really recommend you to have these email settings. So everything except from the last. This way, you can make sure that you will receive all the direct messages, or the direct mention, or the all mentions. So this way, you are sure that you're going to receive all the information needed to correctly participate in this hackathon. I'm going to leave, in case you're not registered, I'm going to leave the registration link here in the chat of Zoom, so you can access it. I did everything. Julia, back to you.
Thank you very much, Michele and Ugo. I'm not sure, Natalie, whether we have any questions.
Not any open this moment. All the questions have been answered already.
Okay. Well, then maybe we can already start wrapping up our first live event. I would say as take-home messages, basically make sure that you take your time to read the starter kit sometime this week. I would say also make sure that you still refer to the hackathon landing page to read what's coming up in the agenda over the 3-week ideation warm up. I'm not sure that you mentioned it, Ugo, but for example, we're going to be having live sessions that will be very useful when you start working on your deliverables, that will provide useful tips for whenever that time comes. Is that right, Ugo? We're going to have a live session looking at how to deliver a great video pitch, for example. We will have a live session in which we will have colleagues from IMEC also provide hints on innovation management. So besides giving you more information on the hackathon topics and challenges, the live sessions might be useful as well to gather tips and to harvest some tips that you can then put into play during the online hackathon. So I would say take a look, and we really hope that you can join us and make the most of those opportunities that we will be making available to you. Other than that, if there's no one that has any questions, we probably gave you a lot of information today, so you probably need time to digest it all. But as Hugo and Michele said, we are going to be there for you to respond to questions during the on the online hackathon platform. So we are easily reachable anytime. So probably all I have to say is thank you very much for joining us today. We really look forward to your participation in the Blue Cloud Hackathon. I would like to give a very special thank you to our guest speakers today and to everyone that is working hard behind the scenes to bring you this hackathon. We still have a long road ahead. We have 3 weeks to slowly build up momentum towards the hackathon. As we've said, join us this next Friday if you wish for additional tips on how to make the most of the functionalities that are available to you in Blue Cloud. Maybe use this week to register to Blue Cloud so that you can bring any questions to Pasquale and his team next Friday. And as I said, to reach out to us through the hackathon channels if you have any questions or if there's anything you would like to share. We will love to hear from you. So nothing else on our side. Thank you very much, and have a great evening. And I'll guess we'll be seeing you around.